Well, here we are about 45 minutes deep into our trading session, and let's take another look at what the grain markets are doing right now. When we opened up, we were just kind of wishy-washy all over the place. Let's start with this corn market. Our quotes are from Bar Chart, and on the corn, we currently have December now trading just a little bit lower. And I mean, when I say a little bit, I mean one single tick. And all across the board, everything down 0.25% every contract month. Now May is exciting, it's down 0.5. Okay, well, let's pass on by that one. Let's take a look at soybeans today. Now, they're getting kind of weak in the knees here. When we came on the air this morning, we had the November soybeans right at $13 at the end of the overnight trade or so. And now it's at $12.89 1/4. That's only one tick off of our low of the day. We're down 8.5 cents from our close yesterday. That's a little bit concerning here. On December, Chicago wheat, we're 1.25 lower at $5.87 3/4. That's about 9 cents off of its overnight high. Man, these grain markets are really on the schneid here lately. We have December Kansas City wheat dropping 3 cents. We're at $7.11 That's a dime off of its earlier high. And let's take a look at Minneapolis wheat. Well, there's a plus sign, but it's only 0.5 cent higher at $7.69 It's well off of its overnight high by about 8 cents. In the cotton market, we currently have December 19 points lower at $87.98, but it's close to 88 cents. It's almost back up there. It has gained back almost 80 points off of its earlier low today. I want to call on Mr. Brian Hoops, the president of Midwest Market Solutions, and get his thoughts on what the markets are doing here. It seems like we're just kind of treading water here, Brian, with the active harvest. A lot of areas I've spoken with, they're over half done, if not all done already. I'm surprised.
Yeah, there's been some harvest activity. The Western Belt, of course, received some rain over the weekend, and that slowed things down. So probably today, maybe when the sun comes out and a little bit stronger around noon, they'll get out in the fields is kind of what I'm told. But a lot of progress has been made. A lot of producers have been real active. Of course, if you don't have very good yields, it's going to go a little quicker for you. And so you never want that for anyone, but that is the one thing that probably is going to kind of give us some support as we go through the rest of this week is reports of those yield numbers that are coming in, some cases far worse than expected, and in a lot of cases far better than expected. So it's really a variance of yields, and depends on, of course, where rainfall occurred and when it occurred this summer. But I think everybody's kind of universal. Top end of those soybean yields were taken off with those extreme heat in the last part of August, and we'll probably get more reports out of that in the weeks to come. But really not a lot of news for the trade to focus on. The estimates are out for Friday's reports, and if anything, I think that could give us a little short covering as we get closer to that report in both the corn and soybean markets.
Brian, yesterday when I got off the air, I had an interesting text from an acquaintance in central Kansas. And they had taken a picture of some dryland soybeans out there. And from a distance, I mean, it looks like a regular soybean field. They had made a pass through the field, and you could see from the side view, they said they counted about 40 pods per stem on the soybeans. Now, keep in mind, this is Kansas, where it was really droughty this summer. They had a lot of intense high heat. They said they made one round with the combine and couldn't fill a 5-gallon bucket. And that does not amount to much yield. So 40 pods per plant, and I'm guessing that would equate to maybe, an acre or two that they cut. Couldn't fill a 5-gallon bucket. So the vast majority of those pods had to have been aborted or just didn't have any berries in them. That's not a good sign.
No, and you do hear those type of reports. Now, it all depends on where you're located and the rain that you receive. So if you didn't receive hardly any rain like some places in Kansas this summer, you should expect some really poor yields. I think a lot of producers were. Some of this crop that we've heard in western Iowa actually coming in better than expected. So, for every 2 really disastrous type yields that we're hearing, we're probably hearing 3 that are actually better than expected, from the producer. So a lot of it's going to be down from the average or down from last year, but just that better than expected type mentality is kind of circulating right now. And that may be what's weighing on the markets here in early dealings this morning. I think we pointed out yesterday, and probably worth pointing out again today, that your seasonal lows for both corn and soybeans are occurring here right around this week, maybe next week, for both corn and soybeans.
Looks like that crop revenue coverage may save the day this year for a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely for the corn market it will.
All right, we'll take a quick break here, Brian. I want to get your thoughts on this cattle market that kind of had the wheels come off on the open. We'll take a look at what it's doing now when we come back. We're back with Brian Hoops, and let's talk about the livestock side of the equation. Brian, the beef and pork cutout numbers, I have those from yesterday afternoon as USDA put them out. And I want to get your thoughts on what the trend is in the wholesale trade here. If we can bring up the beef cutout values. They have been going kind of flat to mixed here lately, and yesterday the choice cuts were down $1.85. Selects were higher, but only by 2 cents. Now, this seems to be kind of struggling here lately. What is that telling you about at least the wholesale trade on the beef here? Is the demand starting to wane now?
It could be an indication of that, yes. And the real concern, I think, what you're seeing as a reaction in the futures market now is this cutout values that cannot find a bottom and are choppy, sideways type affairs. We need those products to go higher at this time to give packers back some of their lost margin. And we are seeing margins really slip in the red here, over $57 a head negative right now. So it's a concern from the standpoint of how is that going to affect the cash markets. I really think cash is no better than steady this week and could be lower. And I think maybe the futures are trying to anticipate some of that. Certainly, we're getting some hedging pressure. We rallied yesterday late in the session. We're still up near those contract highs where we were up until this morning. And now the fact that we're seeing quite a bit of selling pressure, I think is actually some hedge pressure coming into the marketplace as some of these feedlots anticipating that packers may cut their kills in here to prop up those margins. And if they do, that means the cash market's likely to work their way lower.
Well, there sure is pressure today. Look at the December live cattle, down $2.20 at 189.02 right now. That is way off of its earlier high by over $2 now this morning. February down $2.22 at 193.67. So all kinds of pressure on, as they say, the fat cattle. On the feeders, wow, October down $3.27. November down $3.95, Brian, at 258.75. Are they taking out support or not?
You really have to fall a long ways before you take out any key support in here. So, technically, I don't think this is anything at this point in time to be concerned about as far as support being taken out or changing the trend or anything. It's more of selling pressure up near those old highs and anticipation that at least for a couple weeks, we may see steady to lower cash markets.
Looks like that long-term uptrend is still intact. And now we go to lean hogs, and on the lean hogs today, they were a little higher, and now they have turned lower. So weakness all across the livestock trade here. Let's look at this October board. October all by itself is higher by 37 cents, but you have December 22 lower at 72.30 right now, and that's only one tick off of its low of the day. So yeah, everything kind of flipping around on the hogs as well. All right, Brian, thank you for talking with us. Always look forward to it. Brian Hoops of Midwest Market Solutions. He is in Springfield, Missouri. So, Suzanne,